Feel the echo of that choice still vibrating in your chest. The moment you decided delay would no longer narrate your story. The spark is alive, but sparks become lasting fire only when they find fuel. Purpose is that fuel. Pause and breathe as pictures of your future sharpen. See mornings where you wake light, mission pulling you out of bed stronger than any alarm. Hear the laughter of people you love benefiting from the work you finally finished. Smell the paper of signed contracts, diplomas, creations that once lived only in imagination. Taste the victory of handing over keys to a new home, or pressing upload on a project that changes lives. Your mind stores these senses as proof that action matters. Whisper to yourself right now, I move because my future deserves motion. Let that sentence settle behind your ribs like a drumbeat, synchronizing every thought. Now identify the single outcome that would make all struggle worthwhile. It might be freedom from debt, confidence to stand tall in any room, or the quiet pride of showing children what commitment looks like. Write it where eyes land often. The brain follows vision. When distractions call, that written promise will answer louder. Desire alone is not enough. Paint it with details so vivid you could reach out and touch them. Instead of I want success, declare I deliver the draft of my novel to publishers by October and hold the first printed copy in December, pages warm from the press. Such clarity turns wishful thinking into a contract signed with your own resolve. The moment specifics arrive, procrastination loses its favorite hiding place, vagueness. Link your purpose to service beyond yourself. Imagine strangers whose lives lighten because you acted today. Purpose grows exponentially when it extends outward. Responsibility to others ignites reserves of energy you never knew existed. Picture the message someone sends you years from now, thanking you for the tool, the book, the business that lifted them from doubt. That future gratitude is already waiting, but only decisive footsteps can reach it. Each task you complete sends a ripple forward, shaping stories you may never hear but will always feel. Carry this vision into every encounter with resistance. When fatigue whispers sleep, recall the child who learns courage by watching you finish. When a scroll through endless feeds tempts you, remember the mentor you become by choosing creation over consumption. Purpose, repeated and refreshed, becomes armor. Wear it daily. The world does not reward potential, it crowns the resolute. You have defined your crown, measured its weight, and accepted the honor of earning it. Let the vision blaze brighter with every conscious breath you take today. Let that responsibility electrify your veins, lifting your shoulders, steadying your breath. Today you trade hesitation for legacy, because the life waiting on the other side of action is already calling your name. Mountains crumble when you focus on the stone beneath your boot rather than the peak above the clouds. Look at the task that looms over you and slice it into pieces so small they feel almost embarrassingly easy. Choose one fragment that can be finished before a single song ends, then begin while the first note plays. Completion of that sliver triggers a spark of dopamine, a biochemical applause that tells your brain, this is what winning feels like. Chase that feeling again by claiming the next fragment, then the next, until the soundtrack of progress scores your day. The mind loves games, turn workload into levels, and with each cleared stage, confidence rises. Keep a visible scoreboard, check marks, colored squares, moving beads, because the eye delights in proof of advancement. Each mark shouts that movement is real, drowning the inner voice that insists you are standing still. Precision of focus does more than accelerate results. It silences self-doubt. When attention narrows to a single measurable action, there is no room for the questions that spiral momentum into paralysis. Washing one dish is possible even when an entire sink feels impossible. Writing one paragraph is doable even when a whole book feels infinite. Commit to 25 minutes of uninterrupted effort, then gift yourself a breath and decide if you will dive again. Most times you will, because inertia now rolls in your favor. Momentum rewards the willing with compounding speed. What felt glacier slow in the beginning soon gains the force of a river after rain. Guard these short sprints with boundaries that treat them as sacred. Silence notifications, close extra tabs. Inform people you are unreachable for this brief interval of promise. The world can wait. destiny cannot. As each micro-task falls, pause to acknowledge the victory, however small. A whispered yes, a stretch of the shoulders, a deliberate exhale. Rituals that teach your nervous system that effort is safe and success is familiar. Over days, weeks, months, these rituals braid into identity. You become someone who finishes what is started because neurons now fire in paths paved by repetition. The mountain never disappeared. You simply built a staircase out of stones once deemed too heavy. Step after deliberate step, the summit lowers to meet you, and one decisive day you stand where giants stand, heart steady, eyes clear, realizing the climb was less about conquering altitude and more about mastering the art of continual, courageous motion. The moment the first stone is set in motion, resistance reveals its true weakness. It cannot survive direct contact with action. Leverage this discovery through the 2-minute launch. Promise yourself only a brief entrance into the task, nothing more, then honor that promise without negotiation. Open the document, lace the shoes, dial the number, let your body begin before the mind has time to debate. Once engaged, inertia shifts, and quitting feels less comfortable than continuing. Tell yourself you can stop after 2 minutes, knowing you almost never will because progress tastes sweeter than hesitation. Prepare cues that ignite this ritual automatically. Set an alarm titled, "Start Now," place the book upon the pillow you will see before sleep, preload the project file so morning greets you with readiness. Small frictions removed, small frictions added where distraction lurks, sign out of seductive platforms, bury the remote, silence the digital chatter. The environment becomes a silent coach, directing attention toward creation. You are no longer a lone warrior relying on willpower. You have recruited every object around you into your mission. Celebrate the instant you cross the 2-minute threshold. A nod, a fist gently closed in triumph, a deep breath that tastes of possibility. These micro-celebrations are not trivial. They imprint success on the nervous system, teaching it to crave repetition. The brain, hungry for dopamine, learns that starting produces reward, and starting therefore becomes desirable. Over time, hesitation withers from neglect, starved of attention and stripped of power. Notice how momentum composes a new soundtrack beneath your days, where silence once echoed with postponed intentions. Now a steady rhythm of beginnings hums. Projects open, workouts commence, conversations initiate, and life answers with expanding opportunities. People trust those who act. Doors swing wide for the decisive. The identity taking root within you is not fabricated affirmation, but lived evidence. You are someone who begins, therefore you are someone who finishes. Protect this identity with fierce devotion. If ever a day passes when the launch is missed, refuse shame and instead conduct a quick diagnosis. Was energy low, the cue hidden, the task unclear? Adjust immediately and relaunch. Flexibility keeps the mechanism alive. Perfection is unnecessary. Consistency is sovereign. Feel the compound interest of these daily starts accumulating. Skills sharpen, networks grow, ideas manifest in physical form. What seemed impossible months ago now sits completed on your desk, and you struggle to recall the weight procrastination once held. Hold this memory of transformation like a torch, illuminating the path for every new endeavor. The 2-minute launch remains your trustworthy spark, ready to ignite any goal, any time for the rest of your extraordinary, action-driven journey. Keep it sacred, repeat it tomorrow, and watch the horizon of your potential stretch further than ever imagined. Willpower is precious currency, spent faster than most realize, so transform the spaces you inhabit into silent allies that pay the price for you. Begin with what meets your eyes the instant you sit to work. A desk cleared of everything unrelated to the mission. A single sheet outlining today's highest value task. A reminder of your written purpose standing upright like a lighthouse. Place tools within a hand's reach, cables untangled, tabs preloaded, lighting warm enough to invite focus yet bright enough to dismiss drowsiness. Each deliberate placement removes a negotiation. Each cleared inch subtracts a possible excuse. Over time, the brain associates this landscape with decisive creation, and the very sight of it flips the switch from intention to execution without conscious effort. Architecture extends beyond furniture into the architecture of time. Block decisive segments in your calendar and treat them as appointments with destiny. When the clock strikes a scheduled hour, act without negotiation, because the negotiation already happened when you wrote it down. Visible countdown timers intensify commitment. Seconds slipping away feel like opportunities escaping, and urgency sharpens concentration. Connect these windows to a clear finish line, a paragraph drafted, a spreadsheet balanced, a workout completed. Closing a session knowing the target is hit releases a surge of satisfaction that conditions the mind to crave repetition. Sound can sculpt behavior as strongly as walls do. Curate playlists that your brain pairs exclusively with focused execution. The first note becomes Pavlov's bell, instructing neurons to assemble for performance. When the session ends, change the soundtrack, signaling release. Scent works similarly. A drop of invigorating citrus or peppermint conditions alertness. Layered cues weave a ritual tapestry difficult for procrastination to slip through. Even digital territory must follow the blueprint. Arrange your computer's home screen so the project folder sits center stage, icons for entertainment tucked out of immediate sight. Configure browsers to open on productivity dashboards rather than news cycles engineered to hijack emotion. Automate routine tasks. Bill payments, file backups, update reminders, freeing cognitive bandwidth for creativity and decisive strategy. Technology ceases to be a thief of attention and becomes a disciplined assistant. Guard the borders of this environment with regular audits. Once a week, remove accumulated clutter, refresh motivational visuals, and adjust settings to match evolving goals. Each audit reasserts ownership, reminding you that surroundings are choices, not accidents. You are the architect, and architecture influences identity. Stand in the room you designed and notice how the posture shifts, how breathing deepens, how intention feels at home. Spaces silently mirror back the standard you set. Elevate the space and the mirror shows an elevated self. Guard them well, because when environment and intention align, effort is easy, progress inevitable, and excellence becomes the atmosphere you breathe. Deadlines are declarations of intent carved into time, and time respects those who respect it. Mark a clear finish line for every mission, writing the exact day and hour by which completion must occur. When the mind sees a specific endpoint, focus narrows like a lens, filtering out trivialities that once diluted energy. Externalize the promise by sharing it aloud with someone you trust. Accountability transforms a private wish into a public vow. The simple knowledge that another pair of eyes expects results awakens dormant reserves of determination. Picture a trusted friend awaiting your update, or a colleague scheduling a review meeting based on your word. Their anticipation becomes a steady drumbeat guiding each action toward the appointed moment. Do not fear the ticking clock. Embrace its rhythm as motivation's heartbeat. Set intermediate checkpoints within larger deadlines so progress becomes measurable and momentum visible. A project due Friday gains power when Wednesday demands the first draft and Thursday insists on refinement. Completing these micro milestones releases satisfaction in controlled bursts, sustaining drive without exhausting will. Integrate buffer periods to absorb the unexpected, finishing one day early whenever possible. Early completion yields breathing room and injects confidence that spills into future commitments. Celebrate deadline victories with intentional rewards that align with your highest values. A quiet walk at sunset, an hour immersed in a cherished book, a nourishing meal with loved ones. Select experiences that rejuvenate rather than distract. Immediate positive reinforcement encodes success in neural pathways, making the pursuit of timely completion inherently attractive. Over time, the mind seeks the pleasure of punctual delivery, just as sure as it once sought the comfort of procrastination. Guard against the temptation to extend a deadline once set. Flexibility in schedule often masquerades as mercy, but quickly erodes self-trust. Should an unavoidable obstacle arise, renegotiate openly and early, never in secrecy or at the last minute. Honesty preserves integrity, and integrity fuels lasting confidence. Each kept deadline becomes proof that your word holds weight, forging a reputation others recognize and opportunities honor. Harness visual cues to keep the countdown vivid. A red circle on a wall calendar, a digital widget displaying hours remaining, a handwritten note on the bathroom mirror. Every glance reminds you that time is both finite and fertile. With each passing minute, you choose either to plant seeds of progress or weeds of regret. Distance yourself from both extremes of pressure, apathy that drags feet and panic that paralyzes. Aim instead for alert calm, knowing that deliberate motion beats frantic scrambling and that deadlines approached with structure and poise transform into milestones of mastery. When the appointed hour arrives and work stands finished, pause to breathe gratitude into the moment. Feel the surge of competence washing through your veins, evidence of alignment between vision and execution. Bank this feeling as emotional capital ready to spend on the next endeavor. From now on, when you declare a deadline, understand you are speaking destiny into existence, and destiny listens to the disciplined voice of one who delivers. Decisions are the steering wheel of destiny, yet every turn drains a little fuel from your reservoir of mental energy, so reserve that power for roads that truly matter. Begin by stripping away trivial choices that clutter the day, lay out tomorrow's clothes before sleep, automate recurring payments, plan meals in batches, and watch how clarity expands when minutiae no longer demand deliberation. With bandwidth freed, direct attention toward the pivotal crossroads that shape progress. Approach each consequential decision with a structured lens, clarify the desired outcome, list the critical criteria, gather only the information essential to evaluate those criteria, then set a timer to guard against endless analysis. The clock's gentle pressure prevents the mind from chasing infinite possibilities and anchors it to concrete action. Introduce the 10-10-10 technique as a compass. Ask how each choice will feel in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. The immediate view highlights emotional signals, excitement, fear, curiosity, that reveal hidden motives. The mid-range view tests alignment with medium-term goals, filtering out impulses that may sparkle now yet sabotage momentum later. The long-range view projects consequences onto the canvas of legacy, exposing whether this decision strengthens or weakens the story you wish to tell about your life. Balancing these horizons creates confident equilibrium, allowing heart and intellect to collaborate instead of compete. Perfectionism often disguises procrastination inside an elegant mask labeled due diligence. Remove the mask by embracing the principle of good enough when stakes are low. If two restaurant options differ only in decor, choose quickly and preserve cognitive capital for negotiations, creative strategy, or critical conversations. Train this muscle daily through low-risk reps. Pick the first available parking space, order from the menu in 60 seconds, select the workout routine without scrolling endless comparisons. Each swift resolution deposits a coin in the confidence jar, and the jar fills faster than you imagine. For weightier matters, draft a decision journal. Record the date, context, reasoning, and emotional state tied to each major choice. Revisit entries monthly to observe patterns. Perhaps fatigue skews judgment, or certain voices in your circle sharpen clarity while others cloud it. Self-awareness converts experience into wisdom, shrinking the margin for regret. Over time, you will notice a quieter mind, because documented reflection silences the echo chamber of doubt. Once the choice is made, commit publicly to reinforce resolve. Share the path you've selected with a mentor or peer group devoted to growth. External acknowledgement crystallizes internal conviction, and support systems stand ready to remind you why you began when obstacles arise. Action must follow swiftly, even a tiny first step. Sending the introductory email, scheduling the kickoff call, locks the decision into motion while enthusiasm still burns bright. Feel the surge of liberation when uncertainty melts into movement. Each decisive act reconfigures neural pathways, teaching your brain that clarity lives on the far side of choice, not before it. Repeat this cycle of deliberate focus, timely execution, and reflective learning until choosing boldly becomes as natural as breathing, and watch the horizon of possible futures widen with every confident turn of the wheel. Emotion is the ignition key that turns knowledge into unstoppable force. So summon feelings intentionally and let them surge through your veins like liquid fire. Begin each morning with a vivid mental cinema where the future you already lives inside completed goals. Close your eyes and step into that scene, fingers brushing the polished surface of the finished product, heart pounding with the applause of inner pride, sunlight cascading over a face radiant with earned freedom. Allow the scene to swell until joy tingles at the edges of your skin, then open your eyes, carrying the resonance forward as fuel. Pair the visualization with music that vibrates in perfect frequency with ambition. Whether thunderous drums or soaring strings, choose sound that lifts your chest and quickens. Breath. Press play the instant you sit to work, and let the first notes anchor the emotional state you just envisioned. Emotions also obey contrast. So wield the stark vision of what happens if you fail to act. Picture days slipping by, opportunities expiring unused, talents rusting in the silent attic of neglect. Feel the weight of that regret pressing like stone on your lungs. Hold it just long enough to remember that each moment of indecision risks this outcome. Then pivot back to the brighter scene, noticing how relief floods in when action prevails. This pendulum of possibility trains the brain to associate movement with liberation and delay with suffocate ion. Keep tangible triggers within reach to reignite chosen emotions throughout the day. A photograph representing family who believe in you. A smooth stone collected on a trip that symbolizes breakthrough. A scent of citrus that instantly refreshes focus. Simple. Artifacts become buttons that summon the mindset on demand. When energy sags, touch the token, inhale the fragrance, feel electricity surge back, and resume. Emotional management is not happenstance, it is deliberate artistry. Language amplifies feelings, so speak declarations aligned with your vision. Whisper, chant, or write sentences beginning with, I am the architect of decisive progress. I am the embodiment of disciplined fire. The present tense statement pulls tomorrow's reality into today's bloodstream, instructing cells to act accordingly. Merge these affirmations with gratitude for victories already gained, no matter how small. Gratitude sweetens the grind, reminding the psyche that the journey itself is privilege, not punishment. Movement magnifies emotion, so stand, roll your shoulders back, breathe from the diaphragm, and let posture broadcast confidence to every neural corner. A brisk walk between sessions, 10 push-ups beside the desk, a quick burst of dance when a milestone falls. Kinetic celebrations encode triumph deeper than any silent acknowledgement. Could. The body remembers what the mind may forget, so program it with gestures of victory. Guard emotional bandwidth with ruthless care. Limit exposure to pessimistic media and energy-draining conversations. Curate a circle of influence where enthusiasm is the native language. Feed your mind literature and lessons that affirm possibility. Every input becomes part of your emotional ecosystem. Choose those that nourish resilience, not sap it. As you master this internal climate, procrastination withers under the heat of sustained passion, and every decision blooms in the rich soil of purposeful feeling. Focus is a sacred muscle. It grows stronger only when trained with intention and shielded from distraction. Begin by identifying the times of day when your mind is clearest, when the fog lifts and sharpness burns brightest. Dedicate those golden hours exclusively to the tasks that demand your highest cognitive power. Guard this time as if your future depends on it, because it does. Switch off notifications, silence phones, close irrelevant tabs, and create a fortress of solitude where ambition can roar without interruption. Each boundary you set tightens focus, rewiring the brain to crave deep work and reject the chaos of multitasking. Leverage the power of ritual to mark the start and end of focus sessions. The mind loves patterns, and when certain actions consistently precede intense work, lighting a candle, stretching a certain way, opening a particular notebook, these cues prime your neural pathways to enter flow with ease. Over time, the body remembers these signals as invitations to unwavering attention, reducing resistance and launching productivity automatically. A ritual is a promise to yourself that this time belongs to your highest purpose. Use the technique of chunking to divide overwhelming tasks into manageable units. A massive project dissolves when dissected into bite-sized actions, each with a clear, immediate goal. This shrinks the distance between start and finish, collapsing inertia into momentum. Instead of staring at a mountain, focus on the next step, drafting one paragraph, sending one email, sketching one outline. Celebrate each small win with a brief pause, stretch, breathe, savor, and then move on. Progress is progress, no matter the size, and the accumulation of micro-actions ignites unstoppable forward motion. Guard your attention like a precious flame. When you feel focus fading, pause deliberately. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and reset. If the environment is noisy or chaotic, consider noise-canceling headphones or a simple white noise app. Replace background distractions with sounds that enhance concentration. Steady rain, ocean waves, or soft instrumental music. Notice how the mind responds to calm and how it resists chaos. Over time, create a mental association between these sensory inputs and focused work, making concentration more natural. Embrace the power of single tasking. Multitasking may promise efficiency, but it fragments attention and depletes energy. Commit fully to one task before moving to the next, and watch how quality and speed both improve. Allow yourself permission to be fully present in each moment, creating a rhythm where depth replaces surface-level effort. This practice builds confidence, reduces errors, and ultimately saves time. Remember, focus is not just about doing, it is about choosing where to place your energy. Every moment spent distracted is a moment stolen from your dreams. Each act of sustained attention is an investment in the life you desire. When the mind resists, remind yourself that focus is freedom, the freedom to shape reality with clarity and force. Cultivate this freedom daily, and procrastination will find no foothold. Instead, a steady river of decisive action will carry you toward the success you were born to claim. Discipline is the silent architect of triumph, a steadfast force that builds bridges between dreams and reality when motivation wanes. Understand that discipline is not a harsh taskmaster, but a loyal ally trained through repetition and choice. It begins with small, deliberate commitments, waking early, choosing work over distraction, pushing just one more time when resistance rises. Each act of discipline deposits strength into an invisible muscle that grows resilient against excuses and temptation. Recognize that true discipline thrives not in moments of zeal, but in the quiet, mundane decisions repeated day after day. This consistency carves a path through chaos, making progress inevitable. Replace vague intentions with concrete habits tethered to time and context. When you decide, I will work out, translate it to, I will exercise at 7 a.m. in my living room. Specificity removes ambiguity, allowing the mind to anticipate action rather than debate possibility. Design your environment to support these habits, lay out workout clothes the night before, set alarms that signal action, and eliminate triggers that tempt avoidance. The brain's reward system learns quickly that certain cues lead to satisfaction, creating an automatic loop that bypasses wavering willpower. Remember, discipline is a skill, not a trait. It is forged in the heat of challenge and cooled by patience. When failure comes, and it will, do not retreat into self-judgment. Instead, observe what blocked your path and adjust your strategy without losing momentum. Reflection transforms setbacks into recalibration points rather than roadblocks. Know that resilience is the hallmark of discipline. The ability to rise, recommit, and continue makes all the difference between fleeting effort and lasting transformation. Anchor your day with rituals that signal commitment and focus. Whether it's a morning meditation, a moment of gratitude, or a simple breath-counting exercise, these rituals condition the mind for discipline. They create a mental framework where intention meets action seamlessly. Over time, rituals become sacred touchstones, reminders of who you are becoming and the standard you uphold. Their quiet power fuels endurance when motivation dims. Celebrate progress without waiting for perfection. Discipline grows through recognition of forward motion, no matter how small. When you honor each step taken, neural pathways light up with dopamine, reinforcing the behavior. Avoid the trap of all or nothing thinking that paralyzes effort. Understand that excellence is a process, sculpted stroke by stroke. Your commitment to discipline is a declaration to yourself that success is not a lottery, but a choice made persistently. Discipline also demands boundaries. Learn to say no to distractions, excuses, and toxic influences. Protect your time and energy as fiercely as you protect your vision. Each refusal strengthens your resolve and creates space for what truly matters. Clarity comes not only from action, but from what you choose to leave behind. Guarding your discipline is guarding your destiny. As discipline deepens, watch how procrastination loses its grip. The mind, conditioned by consistent action, no longer debates endlessly but moves swiftly. Every day you choose discipline, you build a fortress around your goals, a fortress impenetrable by doubt, hesitation, or delay. In this space, success is not just possible, it is inevitable. Action is the bridge between thought and achievement, the moment when possibility collapses into reality. Understand that waiting for perfect conditions is a trap woven by fear and doubt. The truth is, clarity emerges in motion, not in hesitation. Every step taken breaks the cycle of procrastination and builds unstoppable momentum. When you act, even imperfectly, you signal to your brain that progress matters more than perfection. This rewires your mind to favor doing over doubting and courage over comfort. The first move is the hardest, but it is also the most transformative. Commit to starting before you feel ready. Waiting for motivation or certainty is surrendering power to external circumstances. Instead, cultivate a mindset where readiness is created by action itself. Begin by identifying the smallest possible task that nudges you toward your goal. Writing one sentence, making one call, opening one document. This micro-action reduces overwhelm and sparks energy. Soon, momentum accelerates, and you find yourself naturally drawn deeper into the work. Action feeds motivation, and motivation fuels more action in an ascending spiral that lifts you beyond resistance. Embrace discomfort as a necessary companion on the path to mastery. The urge to avoid difficult tasks is a survival instinct, but survival is not the purpose of your life. Growth happens when you lean into unease and confront the uncertainty beneath procrastination. Feel the tension, acknowledge it, and then press forward anyway. This simple act of defiance strengthens neural pathways tied to resilience and courage. Over time, your threshold for discomfort expands, and what once caused paralysis becomes fuel for progress. Make decisions quickly and with confidence. Indecision is a thief of time and energy, a loop that drains resolve. Commit to making choices based on available information and trust your ability to adapt if new facts arise. Each decision, no matter how small, sharpens your decisiveness muscle and clears mental clutter. Avoid paralysis by analysis by setting strict limits on how long you will consider options. This practice builds a habit of prompt action that cascades into every area of life. Leverage deadlines as catalysts for decisive behavior. Whether externally imposed or self-created, deadlines convert vague intentions into urgent priorities. They create necessary pressure that shifts your brain from passive planning to active doing. Break large projects into phases, each with its own deadline, to maintain consistent progress and prevent last-minute panic. Deadlines make your commitment tangible and time-bound, energizing your focus and driving productivity. Remember, mastery of action transforms your relationship with fear. Fear whispers that waiting will keep you safe, but action proves that courage conquers uncertainty. Each time you choose to act despite fear, you grow stronger and more capable. You build a foundation of experience that becomes a fortress of confidence. Fear loses its power not by avoidance, but by persistent movement forward. The path from procrastination to mastery is paved with intentional, relentless action. When you step into this flow, hesitation dissolves and clarity emerges. The future is forged in moments of courage and choice. Choose action today and watch your world transform. Your mind is a battlefield where clarity and confusion constantly clash. The ability to make decisions decisively separates those who move forward from those trapped in hesitation. Every moment spent doubting or delaying drains your energy and steals your power. Yet decision-making is not a gift reserved for the few. It is a skill you can cultivate and master with deliberate practice. When you commit to choosing boldly, you take ownership of your life and steer it with purpose rather than drift aimlessly with circumstance. Fear of making the wrong choice is a paralyzing illusion. Understand that no decision is permanent. Every path leads to lessons that refine your judgment and build wisdom. The real failure is indecision itself, the silent thief of opportunity. By refusing to decide, you hand control to uncertainty and allow procrastination to reign. Instead, embrace the mindset that every decision is a step forward, a chance to learn and adapt. This shifts your focus from fearing mistakes to valuing progress. To strengthen your decision-making, simplify your choices. Overthinking often results from trying to control every detail or foresee every outcome. But life's complexity cannot be fully predicted or controlled. Reduce overwhelm by narrowing options to a manageable few and setting clear priorities. Trust your instincts once you've gathered the essential information. The faster you decide, the more mental energy you preserve for action and refinement. Speed breeds confidence, and confidence breeds clarity. Create a practice of evaluating decisions with honesty and compassion. After acting, assess what worked and what didn't, without harsh judgment. This feedback loop sharpens your awareness and builds a foundation of trust in yourself. Remember that wisdom grows from experience, and experience grows from action. The courage to decide repeatedly builds a momentum that breaks the cycle of procrastination and doubt. Recognize that your values are your compass. When decisions align with your core beliefs and deepest goals, clarity comes naturally. Identify what truly matters, your vision, integrity, passion, and let these guide your choices. This alignment transforms decisions from burdens into expressions of your authentic self. When your choices reflect who you are and what you stand for, resistance fades and commitment rises. Avoid waiting for perfect certainty or external validation. The perfect moment rarely arrives, and the world does not pause to accommodate your fears. Learning to trust your judgment means acting with imperfect information and adapting as you go. This flexibility is strength, not weakness. It frees you from the chains of hesitation and empowers you to shape your future dynamically. Mastery of decision-making rewires your brain for courage, clarity, and confidence. It creates a positive feedback cycle. Each confident choice reinforces your ability to act boldly next time. As this skill deepens, procrastination loses its grip. Your mind shifts from a battlefield of confusion to a command center of decisive action. Embrace this power now and steer your life toward the success waiting on the other side of choice. Your mind is not your enemy. It is the most powerful tool you possess. Yet it is often hijacked by doubts, fears, and distractions that paralyze your will and drain your focus. To overcome procrastination and master decision-making, you must learn to harness your mind's energy with intention and discipline. This begins with awareness, recognizing when your thoughts are steering you toward delay or avoidance rather than action. The moment you become conscious of hesitation, you gain the power to interrupt it. Awareness is the spark that ignites change. Train your mind to challenge limiting beliefs that whisper not now, not good enough, or too hard. These are mental chains forged by fear, not facts. Each time you question these doubts, you weaken their grip and reclaim control. Replace negative self-talk with affirmations rooted in your true capability and purpose. The language you use within shapes your mindset and actions more than you realize. Speak to yourself as the warrior you are, strong, capable, and relentless in pursuit of growth. Focus sharpens when you learn to prioritize what matters most and shut out noise. Your brain cannot perform at peak level while juggling distractions. Establish clear mental boundaries by dedicating focus time blocks for high-impact tasks. During these moments, eliminate interruptions and dive deeply into your work. This practice rewires your neural pathways to associate focus with accomplishment, creating a powerful feedback loop. Over time, deep work becomes natural and procrastination loses its foothold. Emotional regulation is key. When stress, frustration, or overwhelm rise, the impulse to procrastinate intensifies. But emotional storms do not last forever. Develop strategies to calm your mind. Breathing exercises, mindfulness, or simple pauses. These tools help you regain clarity and prevent emotional hijacking. Remember, acting from calm focus builds strength, while reacting from emotional chaos only fuels delay. Visualize the future shaped by your actions. Imagine the pride, freedom, and success that come from conquering hesitation and deciding with confidence. This vivid mental image is a powerful motivator that pushes you beyond comfort zones. Your brain craves positive outcomes, and by painting a clear picture of your desired future, you align your energy toward making it real. Use this vision to fuel your daily efforts and sustain your momentum. Remember that transformation is not instant. The brain rewires through repetition and patience. Each time you choose focus over distraction, each time you make a decision without fear, you lay a brick in the foundation of your new self. Progress is built through tiny, consistent actions that compound into unstoppable momentum. Do not underestimate the power of these small wins. They are the seeds of lasting change. Your mind is your most loyal ally when trained with respect and intention. Mastery over your thoughts leads directly to mastery over your actions. When you control your mind, procrastination fades, decision-making sharpens, and success becomes not just a dream but an unfolding reality. Claim this power now and watch your life rise to the level of your deepest desires. Every goal worth pursuing demands your presence, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Too often, we let distractions steal this presence, pulling us into endless loops of delay and hesitation. To break free from procrastination and master decision-making, you must reclaim your focus with fierce determination. Your attention is the currency of achievement. Where you invest it, energy follows. If your mind wanders to doubts, fears, or excuses, your progress stalls. But when you channel your full focus into decisive action, you create unstoppable momentum. The key to this focus lies in prioritization. Your mind is wired to handle only a limited amount of information at once. When overwhelmed, it defaults to avoidance. Simplify your mental landscape by zeroing in on the single most impactful task right now. Ignore the noise of what's urgent but less important. Focus demands ruthless selection. What moves you closer to your vision and what only distracts? Train yourself to ask this question consistently. The answer becomes your anchor in the storm of endless choices. Harness the power of intentional pauses. Action without reflection can lead to burnout, while reflection without action leads to stagnation. Use brief moments of stillness to recalibrate your energy and renew your purpose. This balance fuels sustained focus and sharp decision-making. Pausing is not procrastination. It is strategic rest that revitalizes your drive. When you return to work after a mindful pause, you operate from clarity and strength, not fatigue or confusion. Discipline is not a trait you're born with. It is a muscle built through practice. Every time you resist the urge to delay, you strengthen this muscle. Celebrate these victories, no matter how small. Each moment you choose action over avoidance builds confidence and rewires your brain for success. The repeated act of pushing through discomfort trains your mind to seek growth instead of comfort, forging resilience and grit. Guard your environment fiercely. External chaos fuels internal distraction. Create spaces that invite concentration and minimize interruptions. Clear physical clutter and digital distractions that fragment your attention. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals and reasons for action. Your environment should reflect your commitment, becoming a silent partner in your journey. When your surroundings support your focus, your ability to act decisively strengthens. Remember, energy follows clarity. When your goals are crystal clear and your priorities aligned, your motivation intensifies naturally. Vague intentions produce vague results. Define your success in specific terms. Visualize what achievement feels like, what it sounds like, what it changes. This vivid clarity compels your mind and body to respond with urgency and determination, Your brain craves meaning and purpose. Feed it well. Commit now to mastering your focus and sharpening your decisions. These are the foundations of a life unshackled from procrastination. They are the gateway to your deepest potential and the life you've imagined. The power is in your hands. Use it relentlessly. Step into your greatness with unwavering focus and fearless choice. Your future depends on the actions you take today. Decisions define the course of your life. Every choice you make either builds your future or erodes it. When indecision takes hold, it breeds doubt and delays progress, keeping you trapped in a cycle of procrastination. To break free, you must recognize decision-making as a skill, one you can sharpen through deliberate practice and fearless commitment. The first step is to understand that hesitation is a form of resistance, a barrier your mind erects to protect you from discomfort. Yet, growth and success demand you move through discomfort, not away from it. Embrace the discomfort of uncertainty as the path to clarity. The fear of making the wrong decision is natural but often exaggerated by your mind's protective instincts. Understand that perfection is a myth. Waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect choice only guarantees stagnation. Real power comes from deciding boldly, learning swiftly, and adjusting your course with confidence. Each decision is a stepping stone, not a final destination. By embracing this mindset, you dissolve the paralysis caused by fear and open the door to progress. Develop a simple but powerful habit: decide quickly, then act immediately. The longer you linger in indecision, the more your mind fills the space with doubts and excuses. Rapid decision-making sends a clear signal to your subconscious that you trust your inner wisdom and are committed to growth. Action fuels momentum, while hesitation starves it. When you make a choice and follow through, you build a positive cycle of confidence and capability. This cycle becomes self-reinforcing, turning decision-making into a source of strength rather than anxiety. Remember, every decision carries learning within it. Even mistakes serve a vital role. They provide feedback, sharpen your judgment, and refine your path forward. Viewing mistakes as failures only amplifies fear and procrastination. Reframe errors as essential lessons in your journey to mastery. This shift in perspective reduces the pressure of decision-making and frees you to move with courage and curiosity. The process of growth thrives on trial and adjustment, not rigid perfection. Create clarity by breaking decisions into manageable steps. Large, complex choices often overwhelm the mind, triggering avoidance. Simplify by dividing these choices into smaller, actionable parts. Focus on what you can decide and act on right now. Each small decision builds momentum and reduces the emotional weight of the overall goal. This approach dismantles the mental barriers that fuel procrastination and builds a steady rhythm of progress. Trust your intuition as a guide, but balance it with reason and evidence. Your subconscious holds vast wisdom formed by experience and insight. Learn to listen deeply to this inner voice, especially when your mind becomes clouded by noise and indecision. At the same time, ground your choices in clear facts and priorities. This harmony between intuition and logic produces decisions that are both confident and smart. Commit to mastering decision-making as a daily practice. The discipline you cultivate in this area spills over into every aspect of your life, creating a foundation of empowerment. When you choose decisively and act courageously, procrastination loses its grip. Your confidence grows, and success becomes inevitable. Take control now. Choose power over paralysis, and watch your life transform with every bold step you take.